cool. Let's do it. Do it to it.
And we are live, folks. Welcome to the Sit Down Standard, the podcast celebrating all the amazing things you can do while sitting, whether it's enjoying music. I already messed up. Wow, I am rusty. Enjoying movies.
David, come on, man.
Enjoying movies, watching television, or playing games. I am one of your hosts, David Bray. I am joined electronically over the internets with Gerald Bales.
This is Gerald.
Stop it. Now, this is going to be a little bit different because we typically are sitting in a room with each other, but we've missed the last couple weeks of the podcast, so we wanted to come back and get you guys a fresh podcast because we told you we were going to give away a bunch of stuff, and unfortunately, I had a little bit of a new addition to my family.
Well, and by fresh, David, by fresh, you mean we're going to cover 2016.
Exactly.
In the middle of January.
Exactly. I was going to see how far we could go before talking about 2016 again, but we are going to have to talk about it. But no, my wife gave birth to our first kid on December 28th, so it's been kind of crazy for the past couple weeks. Kind of. Yeah. I have a new
understatement of the new year, David.
Exactly. So we'll have lots of what you doing next week. This is again going to be our best of 2016 podcast, and then we're going to announce the winners of our See, I am so rusty. Our Toys for Tots 2016 holiday giveaway. So let's kind of just get it kicked off. By the way, how are you? Because I really haven't talked to you that much.
David, I don't think you've ever let me down for saying this, but I miss you. I miss your face.
Aw,
I miss
that's
the podcast.
Sweet. You're so sweet.
I miss doing this. Yeah.
All right.
And I can't wait to see a little baby Bray.
Yes, it will be lots of fun. Like I said, we'll touch on all of that good stuff because it was a crazy ride, but a lot of fun. So let's just kick it off. Let's start off with top movie of 2016. Now, I saw quite a bit of movies this year just because of the podcast and just generally a lot of good movies came out this year. Actually, that's the one thing that I noticed about the list that I have here of the movies that I saw. There was a lot of really, really good movies this year. But what are your general thoughts of the year as far as movie going?
I think it's a little mixed bag. Like most years, I think it's definitely better than 2015. I mean, we still got a bad DC movie, right? And we got a couple good Marvel movies, and of course, we got a Star Wars. So, as last year, I always preface my best of is I take Star Wars out of the equation because I'm a little bit biased. I will probably vote Star Wars for the next however many years Kathleen Kennedy and company want to put out these things every year. So I take Star Wars out of it. But solid year.
Yeah, the one thing that I did notice, it's kind of more the a lot of the mainstream like blockbuster style movies that traditionally wouldn't be considered like high scoring on Rotten Tomatoes actually got really high scores, which is kind of unique and different. Normally it's like, Transformers makes the most money, but it gets terrible reviews, or like the superhero movies. Well, I shouldn't say the superhero movies. They're actually pretty good more recently, but generally the ones that make a lot of money aren't the ones that get good reviews on Rotten Tomatoes, but it seems like it's kind of changing a little bit here. But anyways, let's go to I'll just start since, it's my top movie. What's interesting, so I just watched this movie. I finished it today, in 2017. But my favorite movie of the year.
Oh, it doesn't count.
Yeah, it totally counts. My favorite movie of 2016, a little bit of a dark horse here, is The Nice Guys, directed by Shane Black, starring Ryan Gosling.
Wow, really?
Yes, what's his name? Fighting Around the World, Russell Crowe. No, this movie is fantastic. It is everything that you love about Shane Black's best work, like Lethal Weapon. It basically is a buddy cop movie. It takes place in 1970s Los Angeles, which you know how I love timepiece movies where they make sure the cars look right, that the scenery looks right, the outfits, everything in this movie like screams 1970s. There's a whole section about the 1970s Los Angeles auto show, and there's just some really cool stuff throughout the movie. But Ryan Gosling and Russell Crowe are amazing in this movie. The buddy, because they're two private investigators who are trying to investigate this disappearance of a girl, and there's some murdering going on. It's very straightforward as far as the theme of the story, but it's the interaction between Russell Crowe and Ryan Gosling that is insane. Now, it's weird to me because, like, when I thought of like Ryan Gosling, La La Land came out and he's won the Golden Globe for that, so he's a great actor. But when he first came out, like, you think like he was in The Notebook, right? He was like the hunky guy in the love story movies. But dude can.
But ever since Drive,
That's true. Drive was really, really good.
I think that's when it started for him, was Drive.
Yeah, so Shane Black, man, like really, I'm looking forward to. He's really come a long way. I mean, obviously, he directed Lethal Weapon, which is one of my favorite movies of all time. I love the buddy cop stuff. I love the awesome interactions. There's some like laugh out loud dialogue when like in this movie that is so like they're in a situation where someone's like pointing a gun at both of them and they're talking to each other and they're arguing, and the person who's pointing the gun is like, "Would you two shut up?" Like it's that classic, Lethal Weapon formula that is fantastic, and I just really enjoyed the movie. My second runner-up to this one, which was probably the hardest of the two, was Sing Street, which I've talked about a bunch on the podcast. But I actually enjoyed this movie more because it has that action, comedy, kind of really good balance. And I'm really looking forward to Shane Black's Predator, because I believe he's writing and directing, which he wrote and direct.
He is, yeah.
The Nice Guy. So dude's knocking out of the park. I mean, some people don't like Iron Man 3, but I thought it was pretty good for what it was. So I'm excited. So that is my top movie of 2016, which I just finished today. So I was kind of excited that I got a chance to watch it. So going to be watching a lot more movies with the kiddo. It's easier to sit down and watch a movie.
Yeah, very surprised, David, because I've seen Nice Guys, and it's a good movie, don't get me wrong. It's just, I don't think there were, like you said, a lot of good movies that came out this year. And, I didn't get to see all of them. We didn't get to see all of them, like La La Land, like you mentioned before, or Moonlight. These big Oscar contenders we didn't see. But are you ready for mine, David?
Go ahead. Do you want a drum roll? Brrr.
So I'll do what I did last year. I'll do a couple runner-ups, and I'll build up to my top movie. And
feed those baby birds.
No Star Wars. Not because I don't like Star Wars, but I take it out of the list because it's automatically the best movie. So a couple movies I enjoyed this year. Arrival was an excellent movie. You can go back and to listen to what I thought of this movie before. But that was just so good. A different take on the aliens coming to Earth kind of story, where it's more focused on, communication versus just all out war. And it's kind of cool seeing that with the politics of it, if that really happened. It's just a really cool take on it. It was just super well done. So that's up there. My next kind of runner-up is kind of a smaller movie. Not a lot of people saw this, but it's just hits every note for me. It's Hunt for the Wilder People, directed by Takeshi Wakata, I want to say.
Yeah, I think that's correct.
And I know, David, you really like this movie, right?
Yes, absolutely love this movie. This movie is...
it's so good. Like the comedy in it, the acting, it's just... Everything is just solid with this movie. And I'm more excited for this Thor movie next year because he's directing it, probably more than what other Marvel movies are coming out next year. I don't know. I'm more excited for this movie than Spider-Man, honestly.
And I think the comedy element of Thor can lend itself really well to his style of writing and directing. So I think, because like some of the coolest scenes in like the original Thor was like when he's drinking the coffee and he slams the glass down on the after he drinks it. Like that's the stuff that could be done really well with the director Wakati. So if you like, what was it?
And his humor is just like that. Yeah, Flight of the Conchords.
Yes, exactly.
Or if you've seen some of his other movies, like What We Do in the Shadows is an excellent vampire mockumentary that he's actually in as well as directs. It's just so freaking good. So I recommend any movie by him. It's excellent. Anyways, drum roll. My top movie of 2016 is Moana. Is my top movie of 2016.
Yeah, it's because you're married to a Disney holic.
It's not though. We know. My wife has been on the show many times. She's obviously a huge Disney fan. I'm not as a big Disney fan as she is, though. I do like everything they put out, and they put out Zootopia this year. But just something about it. I mentioned this on the podcast. You can go back and listen to it. But like something about this movie, like I said, I think last week is the first time I didn't listen to the freaking soundtrack like almost every single day. Like just something with that movie I just connected with, and I just. I can't wait to see it again when I can buy it on Blu-ray. I just can't wait to see it again. It's just the soundtrack is excellent. Everything about the movie is just so great. I just love the way they did everything. It's just, I just couldn't, out of all the movies this year other than Star Wars, I just could not get that movie out of my head.
Yeah, it's interesting to see.
It's my top spot.
It's interesting to see Disney animation kind of giving Pixar now a run for its money because, they were always kind of the B team, but now...
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Now it's kind of moving upward. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I think the reason that it didn't hit I don't know, because it's... for Disney, with me, it's like the bar is so high. Like, these movies are fantastic. Don't get me wrong. Like, Moana was fantastic, and I would recommend anyone go see it if you're an adult or a kid. It has excellent comedy for both. But because Disney, like, I think of like Little Mermaid, Pinocchio, Dumbo, like all these classic movies, and I'm like, is it better than any of those? And I'm like, no, but that's probably because I grew up on those movies. But I like, what's crazy, I think we talked about this. This is like someone's Little Mermaid. You know what I mean? Like, that's awesome.
Right.
I'm interested if is Disney Animation going to go the route of sequelizing their movies, like Pixar said they weren't going to do, but ultimately did because, they got to fire up that money printing machine.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. That's going to be I mean, will we see a Zootopia 2 or Moana 2? I mean, they're doing a Frozen 2, so it's definitely possible if the hype is there.
That's right. You're right. They are doing a Frozen 2. So and they've both of these movies not only have fantastic characters, great dialogue, interesting action, but like they create universes in both of these movies that are flush and full of life and interesting, and you want to go see different things, especially Zootopia. But Moana is all about all these different islands and different tribes. So like you could have, and all these different demigods. Like the possibilities are endless in that particular universe. So definitely a good movie.
Right.
All right. Now that we got that out of the way, let's give away some stuff, right? That was the whole. That's why we were trying to rush to get back here and give stuff away. We didn't want people to think we told them there's a contest, make them participate, and then never give anything away. So let's let's start off. You want to do the first two? Actually, the first three.
I'll let you do the first one, and I'll do the one after that.
Okay, so the first one, the first prize that we're giving away is from Chex Games Edition. They gave us a copy of their fantastic game, Codenames, to give away. Now, I know, Gerald, you're a huge fan. Even Sarah loves the game. I think.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
All of Sarah's family you were playing with, and your family. So it's a great game. It's got this password kind of mechanic, the classic game password, where you're trying to give clues to get people to guess certain words. But it's got this spatial element plus team playing element. Very, very cool. So they give away a copy of Codenames. The winner of that one is Dace W. So I will get in. I will get in contact with them to get their address, and then we'll get it all shipped out. So I'll get in touch with everybody here shortly after the podcast posts, and that's the first prize. So good job. Let's move on. The next one I think you can handle, but this is the $250. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it's two $50 Broken Token gift cards. Obviously, each person, we got two winners for this, correct, David?
That is correct.
So we have, drum roll, winner of this. And if you remember Broken Token, they make custom pieces to put in your board games to keep everything organized and all together. Very cool stuff, top quality. Made in America, David? Can I say that?
I believe so. I believe it is. I know they are a...
Made in the great U.S. of A.
That's right.
Hopefully. Some of it is, right? I mean, at least one part of this company's got to be in America.
Anyways, give away the gift card.
The winners are at Netters Plays. Congratulations. And John Messenger.
Awesome. So again, I'll get in contact with you.
Congratulations, guys. Thank you so much.
Yeah, big. Again, we want to thank all of the vendors that gave away stuff. We'll go through these, and then we want to, of course, thank everybody who participated. I'll get in touch again with everybody about the prizes. But again, you can check out all their great stuff, Broken Token, at thebrokentoken.com. So you can find out all their cool stuff. I just recently bought some stuff for a new game that I just bought, an insert, because I'm not a Neanderthal. Got to keep my stuff organized, guys. All right, so now that we gave those two away, let's move on to the next category of top things of 2016. Let's move on to top video games of 2016. I'll let you start. Tell me what you thought about gaming this year as far as video games.
Interesting year. I found myself actually not playing as much as many video games, I should say, as I feel like I normally do. I guess just the stress of life, David.
Catching up with you. Catching up.
Yeah, I guess. I'm 30 years old this year, David. I gotta act like a freaking adult. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you gotta grow a tomato garden.
20s anymore.
You gotta grow a tomato garden.
Yeah, I gotta go out and water the plants. So yeah, I definitely played some games this year, just not as many as I normally do. So a couple runner ups. I want to mention The Witness that came out at the beginning of the year. Very excellent puzzle game. Obviously, I've talked about it a lot. I think, David, you played it as well. Solid game. I still haven't beaten it yet because it's so good like when you're playing it, but it's also so bad when you're playing it because not bad, but just frustrating when you can't solve puzzles.
That particular game too, it teaches you a language, and if you walk away for too long, you lose the language, and then you can't like, it's like if you went from Spanish 101 and then like didn't do Spanish 102, and then 2 years later we're like, I'm going to do Spanish 102. It's like, no, you're not, or 201. I don't remember what the numbers are for courses in college, but yeah, it teaches you such incremental knowledge that you can't walk away from it for too long. Otherwise, it's all purged.
Exactly, and it's not only that, but I mean, in a world of constant things everywhere, there's movies, there's other games. It's difficult to sit down and play just any game and just finish it all the way through, especially a game like The Witness where you just have all these puzzles. There isn't a linear real story, so it's still an excellent game. Anytime you just want to sit down and rack your brain for a little bit, it's definitely a great game to play. My next runner-up is kind of a game, I would say, but it is Pokemon Go.
Yes, I thought this would be your number one game. I thought for sure because of how much you play.
No, because honestly, it's barely a game. The biggest reason why it's even it's considered a runner-up is just because, one, it brought my wife into anything Pokemon related, which I mean she has no idea, and we competed against each other, trying to get fill up our decks and all this kind of stuff, and any video game that can get my wife interested in games is deserves some kind of praise in my book. And it's just bringing the nostalgia of the first gen creatures out in the real world. I still open it up every single day. Gotta check my eggs, get my daily bonuses and stuff. But I mean, there's not much of a game to it anymore. But I mean, I'm curious to see where they go with it and add more. They did a couple things for the holidays that added some of the second gen Pokemon and stuff to it. So it's only a matter of time before they slowly start adding some more fun stuff. And then my top video game of the year should be no surprise to anyone who listens to this freaking podcast. It's another reason why I didn't play more video games, because I was playing this game in particular. I'm going to be playing probably when we wrap up this podcast. It is Overwatch.
Yeah.
No surprise there.
No surprise.
And for everything I've said before, it's the best multiplayer shooter I've ever played. It's almost the best experience I've had playing a multiplayer game, aside from Halo 3 back in the day with you, David, and company. But it's just so much fun. It's so frustrating. It's so challenging. It's very rewarding when you do pull off some just excellent plays in this game. They're constantly adding more stuff to it. A new map just dropped, and they're constantly, adjusting how the ladder system works, the competitive system, and how, characters play out. It's just, and they're listening to the community, and it's just, I haven't really played a game like that has that kind of close ties to the community, and they're willing to communicate, and everything is just top quality. And I mean, it's Blizzard, so I mean, how could it not be, right?
Absolutely. I enjoy Overwatch, but it's I think I'm just kind of past the competitive. I mean, I shouldn't say that. I think it's one of those games where it's just like any first person shooter. You have to play it. You have to lose a certain amount before you start winning, and I never was able to invest the time and energy into it to get to that point.
I'm at a point now where I'm trying to play at least an hour a day to try to get good, and my buddy Alex and I jump on competitive with Mike sometimes, and man, sometimes it's really frustrating. We had like a 7-loss streak, and man, that just, when you're playing competitive and you just see your ranking go down, it's just a swift kick in the balls, man. It's just bad. It's so bad. It is actually kind of funny because my wife was up here the other day, and I was showing her my stats and stuff, like she cares.
Oh my god!
But it shows total hours played, and she's like, "Oh my god, does that say like 96 hours? You've played this game that long?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, I guess I have." Crap.
It's not what it looks like. It's not what it looks like.
Yeah. Exactly. So I can't stop playing it. I'm definitely addicted. It's overcrack, you know what I mean? So yeah, top game of the year.
No
surprise.
Who are your favorite characters to play with? Are they still Torb or whatever?
No, man, it's competitive. You can't play Torb in competitive, David. Come on. No, Diva. I main Diva as my main competitive winky face.
All right. Very, very cool.
I can't believe I literally just winked when I said that. I'm like, this is audio.
You have a problem. You're going to end up going to rehab here pretty soon.
Yeah, Diva, and then Soldier 76, and I'm trying to learn more characters for the competitive, but Diva is like my main
It's your main girl. Got it.
My main squeeze right now. Yeah.
All right. Very, very cool. All right. Well, let me tell you my top video game of 2016. I kind of had the same thing you're talking about, where I didn't play as many video games that I probably played. I think that's more of a result of me playing more board games. Right. Exactly. So the games that I played this year, I want to talk about a couple, and then I'll kind of do what you did. I had kind of a 3-way tie thing going on here, and what's interesting is I always talk about I'm always really interested in narrative in games. Now I'm not so hooked on gameplay, but this choice will also be kind of unique in being contradicting to that particular statement. So the two runners-up are Inside from Playdead Studios, which was a fantastic indie game, and then Owlboy, which was another fantastic kind of has this SNES 2D platformer flying old school feel to it. Both of those were fantastic games. I can't recommend those enough. You got to play those if you like old school games. They have that nostalgia feel, but they also bring something new to the genre. Both kind of have interesting stories to them. And specifically, Inside has a very weird, dark turn and some interesting parts of the game, but both very tight mechanics. But my favorite game of the year that I had the most fun playing, and it's only the single player version of this game, I didn't play much of the multiplayer, is Doom. From id Studios.
Wow.
Yeah. I which is weird because I didn't really play it for the story aspect of it. I mean, there's a portal in hell and you kill demons. I mean, that's really the extent of the story. They do kind of play with that story a little bit, but I mean, it's pretty paint by numbers as far as Doom goes. But it's just the that Twitch first person shooter that is kind of been lost, with all of the Call of Duty and even Halo to some extent, and Battlefield. They're just not as fast as like the Quakes and the Unreal tournaments back of yesteryear. And this really did a good job of creating that same feeling of like you can turn around so quickly, reload really quickly. There's just waves and waves and waves of people. You're flying through the air back and forth, and it's just super satisfying. Plus, you have the chainsaw and you have the kills where you kick the guy's head off or snap. Just super ultra violent. But I had a lot of fun with it. It's one of those games where like you after a certain amount of time, your eyes start hurting because you're never blinking. So I really, really liked it. Plus, I had gotten a new graphics card, and that game really pushed it, and it just, it made me feel like the purchase of the graphics card was definitely worth it. So, that's Doom. I haven't played much of the multiplayer. I've heard good things, and I think they recently came out with an expansion for online, but again, I'm just not much of a multiplayer online guy. I would hope that they maybe later on come out with...
The multiplayer of that game is not where it's at. It's definitely the single-player campaign.
Yeah, and I think they were trying to make some kind of I think it's like a forge ability where people can build stuff. I don't know.
Snap Map.
Okay, that's what it's called, Snap Map. So hopefully, I just need to jump back in there and play it. I haven't really played it since I beat it. But all three of those excellent games. But yeah, Doom has got to be my game of the year, which is, again, kind of a weird choice for me, but I really, really enjoyed my time with it. It was short, but it was full of action and lots of fun. And every time I would step away from the game, I'd want to go back and play it or think about it when I wasn't playing it. And there are challenges like this,
right.
Like there's different challenges where you get like, I don't even know if maybe they are skulls. I can't remember, but there's certain like collectibles and things you can get in the game that I could go back and play. So those are our top video games. We had 2 first-person shooters, kind of interesting in that particular respect.
Right.
All right, so let's give away some more stuff. Let's do 4 giveaways here. So I'll do the first 2, and then you'll get the second 2. Does that sound good?
Sure.
Okay, so the next thing we are giving away is a $30 Amazon gift card, and this is compliments of the great folks over at the Geeking Hard podcast. So again, we want to give them a big shout out. Definitely check
them out, by the way.
Definitely check them out. Lots of good stuff. That's a Geeking Hard podcast. They talk about all the good stuff that you geek hard on. So the winner of that is Asia H. So Asia H won that, so good job.
Congratulations.
You can buy lots of good stuff on Amazon. I saw the other day that you can buy a toilet seat that lights up, so if you are going to the bathroom in the dark, you will be good to go.
I just got a kettlebell from Amazon. Pretty excited.
There you go. All right, the next gift or the next prize to give away is from...
Why is that funny, David?
I don't know. It's just you're a weird guy. So
you're weird.
So the next bundle to give away is from some of my favorite folks. These are the folks over at cardhouse.com. That is spelled Cardhaus. So
House.
Cardhouse. Yeah, exactly. So they give away a bundle. They are an online online board game vendor, and they have amazing deals on board games, great prices. I have probably put people through community college that work there. But their bundle includes a copy of Dead of Winter, The Long Night. That is the expansion, but standalone expansion to the game Dead of Winter. Fantastic zombie, semi-cooperative game where people are working together to try to survive, but there's potentially a traitor amongst you who's trying to thwart the efforts of everybody involved. They also gave a copy of the game Lotus, this beautiful card game where each time you play, you're kind of creating the board, and it's this beautiful artwork. So that's included. A copy of Codenames Pictures, because if you thought Codenames was good, but that you didn't like the reading part, they've come out with a copy or a version of the game that is even better. It's just pictures.
Reading was too hard.
Exactly. And then also a copy of a game called Cry Havoc, which is a really cool area control. I'm basically going to be buying this game. I don't own it just yet, but it's came out this year. Looks really cool. It looks kind of like Avatar as far as like the different factions that you can play as. Very, very cool. So all four of those games, which I think MSRP on that's at least over $200. So the winner of that one is at Milkman BP. So good job, Milkman. Milkman BP wins that one. All right. So why don't you take it away for the next two?
We have from Snowdale Design, board game company, I assume.
Yes. They make the game that's listed there. I sent these to Gerald, so go ahead.
I know. And the board game stuff, I'm sorry. David has all this covered way more than I do. But anyway, they give you a copy of Dale of Merchants, which is an excellent game.
Stop it. Yes, no, it is. It's a deck building card game. I've talked about it. You should just listen to the podcast. Listen to what I say to you. But
no, I refuse to listen to the podcast. No, but I like to say the title, and you could say what the game is about because I don't remember because you're the board game guy.
But no, it's a deck building game where it's kind of this unique deck building game. It's all animal based, so there's all these different decks of cards. Like, you remember this? I talked about it. And you can kind of customize the game. So if you want to play like a more luck based kind of game, a version of this game. You can add decks of cards that really add like a luck element. If you want a mechanic like the chameleon deck is one of the animals, and it has the ability to copy other cards. I mean, it's very thematic as far as what the animal abilities are. Like I think there's these squirrels in it, and the squirrels use like junk like to make other things, or raccoons. I think I don't remember which one it is, but it's some rodent that uses
trash and
stuff they use
like that.
Trash to make other things. So very, very cool. Artwork's great. A lot of fun to play. So go ahead.
The winner of that is at R Geeky Burrow.
Geeky Burrow. Sorry, I think I typed it right. R Geeky Burrow.
Geey. Okay, you missed a K there. So, R Geeky Burrow. Congratulations. Thank you so much for donating.
There you go.
Oh, and we have from Haba Games. They are donating a version of Karuba.
Yes.
David, that's your cue.
Yeah, I got it. No, I got it. Well, we have a little bit of the delay because we're on the internet thing here, so bear with us. But
right, that's true.
But the Karuba game is a really cool family-style game where you're kind of a bunch of different people going into temples and getting treasure. It's a little bit on the lighter side, but it does have enough. It's kind of like that Ticket to Ride weight where it's easy to play, but like if you really are trying to be very strategic, there is a way to like streamline or do well at the game if you've played it multiple times. So very, very cool game. It's called Karuba. Very hard to get these days, even this day.
Not for our winner, and that is D. Clark. Congratulations. That name looks familiar.
D. Clark.
I think they're a longtime listener. Yeah, D. Clark.
Yes. All right, so now that we've gotten that bundle given away, or those series of things, let's move on to the next one. You just sent me a text message because you don't remember the name of the game that you're going to pick for this. But let's talk about our top board game of 2016, and I will help you out because I'll go first here.
Thank you.
So this is the most important category of all categories, and this took me the longest deliberation.
That's why I can't remember the name. I'm like, I love this game, but I don't remember the name because I don't own it and stare at it like you do.
Right. So the thing about board games for me at this point now is I actually know when board games come out, and because a lot of times you play older games, or it really doesn't matter when the games come out if you're not really into the hobby. So we're going to pick the games that actually came out this year. I had a couple runners up here. I really, and I've talked about, I think, all of these on the podcast. I really enjoyed Arkham Horror, the card game. I talked about that. Very cool 2 to 4 player, even a single player game, where it took the Arkham Horror game, this classic game of Cthulhu mythos, where you're a bunch of investigators trying to crack the code of the different ancient ones trying to come back or come. I don't know where I think they're buried in the earth or something like that, and they come out and they kill everybody. But it has that very noir feel to it. But it's very streamlined and it's very easy, but it's also difficult and hard and challenging. And I really enjoyed that game because I like that theme of games, but a lot of them are just cumbersome, like Eldritch Horror or the original Arkham Horror, are just this monster of, no pun intended, of components and rules and fidgety things and little, you got to move this to this and this affects this and this does that. And this card game
and all the different decks of cards, and it's crazy.
Yeah, so this keeps it much more streamlined, but also it has the same feeling of the original game. So that's one of the runners up. But my favorite game of this year, no surprise, is Star Wars Rebellion. I love this game. Oh. I don't know if that's your particular one, but it's Star Wars, the original trilogy with some weird caveats to the canon, in a box. I mean, it is literally everything you love about Star Wars in a box. They figured it out. But the thing that I do love about this game more than other Star Wars games, and my favorite game of all time is Imperial Assault, which is a dungeon crawling style Star Wars game. But this game, you get to play as the people that you saw in the original trilogy. A lot of these games, you play as new adventurers that meet up with Han Solo or meet up with Chewbacca. But in this one, you get to actually be those people. And that's a big deal. Even if it's just, a different card or a different little cardboard chit. You know what I mean? It makes a difference. You feel invested because you know These characters, you love these characters. But it's a 2-player game where one person is the Galactic Empire and one player is the Rebel Alliance, and it's this cat-mouse game. So the Rebel Alliance player is hiding on a planet, the secret base, and the Empire is trying to find that base and destroy it. So you get this feeling like when you're the Rebellion, man, it is hard. You do not get a lot of resources. You do not get a lot of opportunity to make mistakes. Whereas if you're the Empire, it's just blow up everything because what do you care? I mean, it is a feeling.
Well,
Go ahead.
I'm gonna chime in too because this is definitely on my list as well. No surprise here, but yeah, I don't think there's any game out there that really creates that feeling that you have that's conveyed in the movie. You know what I mean? That there's these small ragtag group of rebels fighting this humongous empire, and this game creates that. And I think I know you and I have played a few times, and the Empire has won every time, right? So far?
Yeah, I think we need to play it more. I think the reality because I think, like I said, the Rebellion, you're just not afforded an opportunity to make very many mistakes, which makes thematic sense as far as the movies. But I think once we've played it a number of times, I think at that point, the Rebellion player will have a better opportunity because there is some kind of comboing that goes on the Rebellion side. If you can get it going, it makes it very, very difficult to catch up as far as the Empire player.
Yeah, but when you're the Empire and you can steal Leia and transform her to the dark side, and it's just like stuff like that, and then send her back to the Rebellion to wreak havoc. It's just like, this is so cool, and just creates a theme. Like, I was the Galactic Empire, I believe, last time we played, and I crushed David.
Yes.
And just the feeling of sending out the Death Star from planet to planet, searching for those measly rebels, and just haven't seen the look on his face, like, oh my god, he's getting closer. It's just so good. Such a good game. It is my top game of 2016, by the way, spoiler alert.
Oh.
It is just so good. So good, David.
All right, so we both picked the same game.
So, yeah.
So I know you wanted to talk about this runner-up for you, too, so I'll let you go into this. The game you were talking about is Mansions of Madness 2nd Edition. You were text messaging me. What is the what is the board game with the iPad app? So go ahead and talk about that a little bit. What that runner-up?
Yeah, so we talked about this before the podcast, obviously. And the reason why I really liked it is, obviously, I'm not the biggest board game player. I'm more of a video gamer compared to David. But, this game just mixes those two things perfectly. So it takes a lot of the things in a board game that non-board game players kind of find monotonous and like, David reading the rule book, here we go. And it takes a lot of that and it puts it into the iPad app. So the iPad is not only making it easier for the people to understand that maybe aren't the hardcore board game players, but it takes the stress off the so-called host of the game and just puts that all on the iPad into an app. And it works so well together. I think you and Alyssa played, right? All three of us played?
Yeah, I've played 3 of the... I think it comes with 4 scenarios, and of course they've got a bajillion expansions, and this is the second edition.
Of course.
This is the second edition, so it has conversion kits to include stuff from the original version of the game to kind of make the scenarios vary within themselves, as also make more additional scenarios to go through. But it's, again, it's a Cthulhu mythos game where you're a bunch of scrappy investigators trying to thwart the efforts of occultists and just try to solve mysteries and things like that. But it is tough. It is a very tough game. It's cooperative. But yeah, the iPad integration is so seamless. It is so, like, it just is. It's
so cool.
It's
very cool.
Buttery smooth, and it is just fantastic. And it plays music, and it has some voice overlay. And it every once in a while will play like a kind of a creaking door just to add this little layer of ambiance.
So good.
Yeah. So we had such a blast playing it, and I don't know if we won. I think some of us got onto the boat, but not everybody. I don't remember, but
I think when we 3 played, we won, or I think Alyssa got out with the key or something or whatever we were finding with the evidence. I think, right?
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
And I think you were left behind because, I think you fought the monster so she can get out. It's like, just get out with the clues. Just go.
Yeah.
Don't look back.
So yeah, it's like a classic horror movie. I mean, it really does feel like that, and it's like you talked about. It gets rid of a lot of the fiddliness of some of these cooperative epic games, and it just puts it in the iPad. And I'm hoping there's more games that learn from this, board games that learn from this.
Oh, I'm sure it will. Yeah.
Yeah, and there was iPad integration before this game, but not to the extent it was this silky smooth. It's just really, really good.
And the other runner-up, I guess, on my list would be Scythe. And I don't think we've given this game a proper review on the podcast yet. And this game, I want to play. So, obviously, I'm not a big board gamer. Any game that I just want to, oh, David, I just really want to play that game again. That's rare for me. So, this is one of those games, same thing with the other one, that I just want to play again and again and again. And obviously, it has a Siberian/Russian steampunk theme, so it's obviously it's right up my alley. But it's so fun. It's an area control, but you have, I don't want to say it's worker placement.
It is,
but it kind of is.
It totally is, which is what I love about this game, that you like it, that it has, it's like this weird, usually games are like war games or they're Euro games, and this kind of squeezes those two together in a very unique and interesting way.
Both, yeah.
Yeah, because you can win this game without basically lifting any kind of combat function on your part. And it's the components are just insane. Stonemaier Games just knocks it out of the park with their components. They make,
and just the imagery and the world that they create within this game. Everything is just so cool, and just everything just fits, and it's perfect. And I really, really enjoy this game. I can't wait till we can play again.
Yeah, I think there's a potential this could have been my top game. I just haven't played it enough times. In 2016, I unfortunately got it I think I got it in November, and it just hasn't hit the table enough to really get a full proper review of it. But I know we'll probably do a review in 2017 here shortly of it when we've had a number of times to kind of play with it.
Right.
Okay, so...
And then obviously Rebellion is my top game, so... Yep.
Yes, of course Star Wars has got to be on this list somehow.
All right.
Okay, so now that we got through the board games, let's give away... let's do 2 more gifts. I'll do the second one, you can do the first one.
Cool. For the first one we have, or for the next one, we have the Thames and Cosmos bundle from obviously Thames and Cosmos. We've talked about, I don't know, all of their games, I feel like. I feel like their name comes up every few episodes, once a month or something.
Yeah, we've reviewed a number of their games.
Speaking of a game that we reviewed, Legends of Andor Journey to the North is the expansion, right, to Legends of Andor, which we've played and reviewed. Excellent game. It's pretty much a video game in the board game form. It just fits perfectly with it reminds me of Baldur's Gate or something like that, but the board game version where you're all kind of working together. Excellent board game, especially if you like those kind of video games, and this is the expansion to that. Also comes out, or bundle also, you get Smugglers.
Yes, this is the game that we talked about where you like roll little clay into a ball and you have to fit it into this little hole and you have to do it kind of spatially. Yeah. So it's a unique game. It's from Klaus Teuber, who makes Catan, very popular, Settlers of Catan. So that's another one. And then the third one on here is Emotep, which is this really cool Egyptian style game where you're. It was on runner up for the Spiel des Jahres, so it's a good game. That's the game of the year. The Germans don't mess around with their board games, all right? Germans do not mess around.
They don't mess around with anything.
Oh, man, you got to go there? Anyways, so yeah, you get all three of those games as part of the Themes in Cosmos. So who's the winner?
LEC.
All right.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, LEC. Okay, so I'll do the next one. So, and again, you can check out all their great games at themesinCosmos.com. They have lots of good games like Steam Time.
Do they have bad games? I mean, geez, like I said, I feel like there's so many games of theirs that we've played that we just love.
Exactly. All right, so the next bundle is from Brotherwise Games. They gave us a copy of Boss Monster and Boss Monster 2 Limited Edition. Mm-hmm. Tools of Hero Kind.
Limited,
That's
guys.
right. Limited edition. Tools of Hero Kind expansion and a playmat. So you'll get all of that. The winner of that is Kayla P. So congratulations, Kayla.
Yay. Congratulations. Thank you so much.
So it's it's this kind of card game, but it has that 8-bit style. Again, we've talked about it a number of times. Brotherwisegames.com. You can check out all their great stuff there. Really cool card game, and they've helped out the podcast on a number of different giveaways. So again, thank you so much to them. All right. So I think this next topic you should probably lead off with. That is top television shows of 2016, or top television show.
Oh, David, this is my jam right here. TV and movies and what kind of video games. It's my jam, mainly TV. So a bunch of excellent TV came out this year. Just to name a few, we got Atlanta, excellent show. And the couple on my runner-up on this list, we got Stranger Things. I know is one of David's favorite shows of this year. Excellent show on Netflix. Obviously, they've been putting out a lot of good stuff with the Marvel things. Marco Polo, I guess, was all right. Orange is the New Black, House of Cards. They're just hitting home runs left and right. And this Stranger Things is just no exception. It's just the nostalgia trip, right? It's the 80s. It's D&D. It's just these kids. It seems like almost like an ode to Spielberg, almost the way it's filmed and shot, and it's just so good. Such a good show. Can't wait for it to return. I think it's returning this year, I want to say.
I know it's coming. There's a season 2. It got signed, but I don't know when it's coming, but I know Barbara's supposed to live.
Yeah, that was the joke, right?
Yeah,
with
exactly.
The Golden Globes.
Yeah.
No, she's dead, bro. She's dead. The other show on my runner-up premiered at the very beginning of 2016, and I don't think I've seen the acting is just so good, and it's so real. And anyway, it's American Crime Story, the O.J. Simpson show that they did on FX.
Gotcha.
Or The People vs. O.J. Simpson, American Crime Story is the actual title of the show. But if you haven't seen this, or if you don't know anything about O.J. Simpson, where have you been? If you're a kid and you don't know anything about this, definitely watch this show. It's very good. Excellent performances all around, even by Travolta. He was pretty good. It's just such a good show, and it was just so real. And obviously, we grew up. Right?
Yeah,
that makes sense. We grew up with the O.J. Simpson trial, right?
Definitely, yeah. I mean, we were younger, but yeah, we knew the spectacle of all of it, yeah.
Yeah, exactly, and how it was a multi-year thing on TV all the time. It was just this crazy nonsense case, and just seeing it portrayed like this, and from what I've read, a lot of it is very accurate, the way they did the show, and it's so good.
Well,
definitely check it out.
I know a lot of the attorneys and people involved in the actual case didn't enjoy watching it because they're like, this is literally so close to what it was that I'm reliving this. I didn't want to relive this. So I didn't get a chance to
yeah, and you see some of the
go ahead.
You see some of the crazy stuff that happens on the show, and then you watch the YouTube, because obviously everything's out there on YouTube right now, and it's just a spinning image. It's just crazy how they did it. It's just so good.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to check this one out. I'm probably going to have to binge it at some point just because it's gotten such good reviews and it's winning all the awards. So I will probably end up watching this, but it'll be like a binge thing.
Right, definitely. And my top show 2016 is, again, no surprise, I'm very predictable this year, I guess, and that is Westworld. Unfortunately, got snubbed at the Globes. So did Game of Thrones, which is kind of depressing. But yeah, this show just hits it on all levels. It's got freaking robots. It's got freaking sci-fi. It's got freaking everything, and it's just so good. And I'm planning on binging all episodes now that obviously I know what's going on and see what I catch and know from the beginning what's going to end. It's just so good. And obviously excellent performances by Anthony Hopkins. And I feel like at the end of every episode, especially toward the end, the last half was just like, oh my God, what? No freaking way, it's just
definitely
and those kind of shows are just that have those crazy moments. Like that's just my kind of show. And Westworld, my top show, 2016.
You were saying that you always compared it to Lost. Now I never watched Lost, but it has that there is subtle things that are kind of hinted at that you never notice on the surface until you see at the end, and then you're like, oh my God. So. But with Westworld, my question to you is, are you more or, and I'm not going to spoil anything, are you more or less excited for season 2?
I'm probably more excited for season 2, only because, I kind of read a little bit into when this show was being produced. There was some kind of drama behind the scenes. It was on a hiatus, and they were kind of using a lot of money. And you can kind of see, especially in the pilot episode, compared to the rest of the series, you can kind of see the stories that maybe they were in the original one, but they got written out, and it was kind of messy in the beginning. But now that they know where they're going, season 2 is only going to be better, in my opinion. And obviously, with what was set up at the end of the season, it's just going to be bonkers, right? So I just can't wait to see where they take it from here. I'm super excited for it. Unfortunately, we have to wait, 2 years. But, if they need more time to make it an excellent, excellent show, that's fine.
Yeah. Cool. Now, do you know if the Nolan team is going to be involved in the season 2, or is this just going to kind of be their swan song for this just season 1 stuff?
No, I want to say it's the same showrunners that are involved. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Very, very cool. So, for me, this was a runner-up. Westworld, for sure, is my top show of 2016. The other two that...
Really?
Yeah, I really enjoyed Westworld. I think, for me, it kind of was a slow burn at the beginning, but maybe that was the reason it paid off towards the end so greatly, because of the slow burn at the beginning. And they spent a lot of time kind of setting up the world, no pun intended, in the first few episodes. But, yeah, Anthony Hopkins, it's just... he's insane, and it's so much fun. I recently talked to Jordan about he's like on the second to last episode of the season, and it's just fun. It's fun to hear his reaction and things like that with the surprises and turns and twists and turns of the show. But not my favorite. I have another one I want to talk about. Game of Thrones season.
Oh, I thought you said that was your favorite. No. I'd be like, wow, that's so surprising.
No, not my favorite. I said his runner-up. But the other one that's a big runner-up for me was season 6 of Game of Thrones. I think that's the season they're on. This last season, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Holy moly, this season was awesome. You had some fantastic payoffs for both the good side and the bad side. And when I say fantastic, I mean like one of the most satisfying bad guys getting his day. You know what I mean? Like, it's just fantastic. And there's a battle sequence in season 6 that was just, the way it was shot was probably
the bastards.
Yeah, one of the coolest battle medieval style fights that I've ever seen. The cinematography, the camera work is, I don't think you could redo it anyway. It was just insane. You felt like you were covered in mud and you had a sword in your hand. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many ways that battle sequence, the Battle of the Bastards, I think is what it's called, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it's like they stuck a GoPro on the end of a giant broadsword. You know what I mean? Like, it's insane. Like, it was just so much fun to watch that. But again, not my favorite. I love that season. And it's set up for next season is going to be even better and bigger and better for Game of Thrones.
And even shorter.
Yeah, I know. Even shorter. Frustrating, but it's going to end at some point. But my favorite TV show of this year was Stranger Things. which
Papa?
Yeah, it's got to be 11. It's got to be. It's I don't know why. I'm not necessarily like a huge fan of like Twin Peaks or X-Files. Or that kind of stuff, but I'm just such a big fan of timepiece media, and this like
period piece,
period piece stuff, and this nails the 80s like nobody's business. The music, the outfits, the food, everything about this show screams 80s. But then it adds this additional component of, like you talked about, Steven Spielberg, this Amberlin, little kids being bigger than themselves, and get it has the E.T. feel to it. It's got awesome monsters that they do a good job in the show of like not showing the monster, but the monster is scary. I mean, like it's done in such a magnificent way. The child actors in it are amazing. Winona Ryder is fantastic in it. It's just really, really, really well done. It's one of those shows that the second you literally have to binge this because you cannot stop watching. I think I watched all of Stranger Things maybe in 2 days because I just couldn't.
Yeah, same here.
I just couldn't stop watching, and it's just again, it's. I cannot wait for season 2. The ending of season 1 it's a tightly knit story, but then they give you this last little second thing, and you're like, oh my god, here we go. Let's do season 2. It's just very well done, and I had the most fun watching this. The characters are all lovable. You root for everybody. Even when, even the bad guy, quote unquote, in the show, is interesting and is unique and isn't just, I don't know. I guess he is just bad, but it's so just awesome. I love this show. So that's definitely.
It's just the performances of everybody is just, even the kids, to get that kind of acting out of kids you don't see very often, and when it works, it's so good.
Yeah, and
all the kids too. There wasn't one kid that was like, oh god, that's like, the kid acting's not so good. All of them are good. It's just, it's crazy that it took a lot of talent to get that kind of performance out of those kids. So props to all of them.
All right, so let's give out some 2 more additional things. Then we'll give our last couple things here for the 2016 episode, and then we'll wrap it up because I got a baby that I got to go feed and swaddle and all that good stuff. But I'll do the first one, you do the second one. How's that sound?
Perfect.
Okay, so let me pull this up because now I just actually closed my browser. Okay, so
oh my god,
yeah, I know. So the next one we're giving away is from Heart Machine. They gave us 3 copies of their indie game Hyper Light Drifter. Fantastic game for PC. It's actually on
mentioned in a lot of Game of the Year talk too, by the way.
Absolutely, yeah. Now we're giving away 3 copies of the PC version. Now I think it is available on PS4 and Xbox One. But it's just such a fun game. It has, again, that classic retro vibe to it, but it adds some really unique, tight mechanics that are kind of iterations on some of the stuff we played as kids. So we have 3 to give away. The first winner is Dominic P. The second winner is John Guthrie. And then the third winner is Michelle K. So again, I'll get in contact with you to give you the code, so you can just type that in. I think it's
congratulations.
I think they're Steam codes that Heart Machine gave us. So again, thank you so much for donating, and again, thank you so much for Heart Machine. You got to check out their game. I think right now on Steam, it's probably somewhere between $10 and $15. Well worth the money. So definitely check that out. Go ahead.
The next prize we have is from Asmodee Games.
Asmodee.
Come on. Excuse me. There was Asmodee. That is a different company, right?
Yes. So Asmodee Games.
Okay. Asmodee. Excuse me. You guys should just merge. Come on, guys. Come on.
Actually,
just make it easier for all of
Asmodee
us.
has been buying up everybody, so I wouldn't be surprised. But go ahead.
Yeah. Anyway, they're giving us copies of some very fantastic games. David and I played a couple of these. Red 7, which is an excellent card game. It reminds me of like Uno, but like dialed up to 11. Speaking of 11, it's just really good. There's a lot of different variations of the same game. Slowly, it's almost like easy, medium, hard, difficult. Play with a bunch of people. It's really easy to pick up and master. It's a really, really fun game. Innovation.
Yep, another card game. David? Actually, it's another card game from the same guy who developed Red 7. So a lot of really, really good card games that Asmodee Games has. The next one is from that bundle is Adorable
Pandering.
Pandaring.
Pandaring?
Yeah.
Is that what it said?
Yeah.
Oh, Pandering. Pandaring, excuse me.
Yeah, because it's a bunch of pandas. It's panda cards and stuff like that. It's very cute.
Yeah, and then meow.
Meow. Yeah, this is that kind of the bluffing cat game, which is actually a pretty interesting card game. I know it's whenever you have like cats on cards, people think it's like this very simple game, but you could play this game pretty cutthroat to some extent.
Yep, and the winner of this is Mike K. Congratulations. Thank you so much for donating.
Yeah, and again, you can check out all of Asmati games at
I'm so sorry.
It's okay, asmatigames.com. So I'm sure that happens to them all the time because I wonder who was first, and then the other one's like, it's like that thing. It's like, why don't you just change your name from Michael Bolton? He's like, I'm not the one who makes crappy music. Okay, so let's move on to the next topic. So we've got biggest disappointment of 2016, which I'm sure you have lots of things to choose from. Do you want to go first?
Oh, geez, David, where do I start? Can I just say 2016? No, honestly, this was a fine year, for me personally and for my family. So it was a fine year. But out there in the world, it was not such a good year for a lot of other people, including the LA Chargers. Can I say that?
Yeah, just about. It seems like they're going to move.
No, they are moving. It was confirmed, and I'm super disappointed. But that happened in 2017. 2016, by the way, they were 2015's biggest disappointment as well for me. But just bad coaching, which we don't have to worry about anymore because we don't have that coach anymore, and just disappointing games. And it just sucks when you have really good players. And not just that, but it's not all the coach's fault, but we just had some really serious injuries, and it's just heartbreaking to see some of these really star players at the very beginning of the season, too. It was just really heartbreaking to see your team go down in flames so quickly.
And your team this year, I mean, they weren't great the year before, but this year they found like ways to lose like within the last 2 minutes. It's just like it was. I remember we would text.
Yeah, the joke was, as long as the game ends at the end of the third quarter, like we'd be almost undefeated, right?
Exactly.
I mean, I don't know what else, David.
I'll give you
the whole political system this year. Russia. I mean, there's so many things.
Let me give you mine.
Crazy
Let me give you mine. My biggest disappointment is pretty straightforward, but it's kind of a little caveat on it. Is celebrity deaths. We had a ton of people. Not that people die every year that are celebrities, and lots of people just die generally. But I think what was unique about this year is that it felt like a lot of really relatively younger celebrities, quote unquote younger celebrities passed away, and really some like not just celebrities but like people who are monoliths in their industry as far as Prince, David Bowie. I mean, these are the people that are they're the musicians that other musicians look up to. You know what I mean? Like it's and so that was really and it felt like every week or almost every 2 weeks it was just like one giant person of an epic scale. You had George Michael, you had all these people who in a lot of ways, I know they're celebrities, but they really do influence and change people's lives through film, through music, through art, and it's just sad to see so many people kind of not be able to see their later years of maybe less craziness and less chaos, and maybe that's the reason that they unfortunately did pass away. They burned a little too bright.
I was going to say, like, I was talking to someone about this, and we see this as, oh my God, this has been such a bad year for celebrity deaths, but I think it's only, I mean, unfortunately to say, getting started, only because the age we're at, a lot of people that we know growing up with and all this stuff are passing away, where maybe in years past I was like, oh, I don't even know who that celebrity was, because I didn't see this up there. And so I think, unfortunately, it's the meaning of life. I mean, everything's got to come to an end.
No, of course,
it's going to happen. But
I think it's one of those, like, a lot of these people are passing away in their 60s and some of them even in their 50s, and it's just like it's just
it's
just unfortunate because
unexpected.
Yeah, totally, and like they weren't. Some of them obviously had ailments and sicknesses that kind of were known, but some of these people just unexpectedly died, and it's frustrating and it's upsetting, to a large extent, because there are instances where these people, have an opportunity to bestow a lot of knowledge and a lot of creative influence on people that are, even in their later years, to new artists, and have in-depth conversations with them about what worked for them, what didn't work for them, and it's just frustrating that's unfortunately that knowledge and wisdom is not going to be bestowed upon other people other than through their art itself. But that's the whole thing. If you want to celebrate all of these people and you want to celebrate their life, then go out, listen to a Prince album, listen to a George Michael album, go see Star Wars. You know what I mean? Like, these are the things that are always going to be remembered for the art that they did, and that's why it's just disappointing from that particular standpoint. All right, so let's give away the last two, and then we'll do our bold predictions of 2016 and wrap up our resolutions. And then we'll wrap up this podcast and finally get back to normal and do weekly stuff and not try to miss as much time as we did before. Or I missed, I should say.
Sounds good.
I thought you'd do a podcast by yourself at some point and just kind of talk to yourself.
Nobody wants that, David. Nobody wants that.
All right.
I know. I think at one point you were like, you and Jordan could do it. I'm like, are you kidding me, David?
You two would just be shouting at each other.
You're the producer for one. You're the glue, David, that holds everything together.
Aw, see, this is what the heart grows fonder when you're not around, right? Anyways,
I know. I can't wait to see you and be like, God, I hate you, David.
Okay, so let's do the next two. I'll give away the first one, and you can wrap it up with the grand prize. All right.
Perfect.
Okay, so the next one is
best for last.
Exactly. So the next one is from our great friends over at Grail Games. You can check out all their great games. They have a bunch of Circus Fliccati, I think is one of your favorite card games that we've played. A bunch of different 010. They have a bunch of really cool card games. But the game they're giving away this time is called Jeju Island, which is kind of one of a bigger box board game from them. Normally they kind of do smaller card games. So this is a new game from them that uses a really cool Mancala mechanic where you're kind of picking up a stack of things and then dropping them off one by one in different locations, and the last location that you drop something, you do something or you get some kind of bonus. So that's a copy of Jeju Island, and
cool.
The winner of that is at Tyler_has_shaved. So good job, Tyler. Keep up the good work shaving.
For shaving.
And for winning a copy of Jeju Island. So again, check out all the great stuff at grail-games.com. So, all right, let's wrap it up. We've got one more big prize. Go ahead, Gerald.
Grand prize here, folks. This is for all the marbles. And by marbles, I mean the Bose SoundLink Series Mini 2. This is Bose, come on, guys. We're still trying to get that sponsorship.
Right, please.
We got to mention them at least every few podcasts, But, it's a portable Bluetooth speaker, has excellent sound, and it's small, compact. And it's freaking Bose. What else do you need to know? Am I right? And the winner of this prize is, insert drum roll effect here, Jason B.
Jason B. Good job, Jason. I'm really excited to make more converts to Bose. If I can do that, I will.
Of course you will.
But
thank you. I just want to say, thank you so much for everyone who's donated. Obviously, we had the June for St. Jude earlier in the year, and then we had the Toys for Tots thing before that last year. And so thank you so much for everyone who listens to us and who puts money towards all these great charities and everything, and just to get some cool stuff. Just thank you so much for everyone who donated.
Absolutely, and I want to thank all the vendors too. I want to thank all the vendors for donating. They make our contest even better, because otherwise it would just be me and Gerald giving away T-shirts that we own, and the Bose thing I guess would be about
stickers and crappy stuff. Yeah.
So they make our contest way better, and each year I'm planning to make it bigger and better each and every year. I know I go a little crazy with this, but it's just fun to give away cool prizes for a good cause.
Right.
All right, so let's wrap up the podcast. So we've got a couple things here. I want to talk about bold predictions for 2017. And when I say bold, I want some real bold stuff. And we'll see, in 2018, we'll see if we were completely wrong or if we are the Nostradamus of podcasting world. And then we'll we'll wrap it up with our resolutions for the year, and we'll recap what we talked to our resolutions of last year and whether we actually did them. So I'll go ahead and start. So bold prediction. We talked about this a little bit on the podcast, but I'm going to make a bold prediction. I am going to say Wonder Woman from DC will get over an 85% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, you're freaking crazy, dude. Get the hell out of here. You're crazy.
Yeah, I think it's going to happen. I think this is the one because I think the expectations for this movie now have become so low that it actually will be this pleasant surprise. Whereas Batman vs. Superman, I think people had a heightened expectation because of Batman and Superman. And I think Wonder Woman actually will benefit from the fact that Suicide Squad and Batman vs. Superman have underperformed as far as critical acclaim.
Wow. I will be very surprised. I mean, you paint my you get my face, crow, whatever one of those things you want to say. I will be very surprised.
Okay.
Very surprised.
My second bold prediction is that the Nintendo Switch will not only outsell the Xbox One, but will also outsell the PlayStation 4 for the year of 2017.
You are freaking crazy, David. I know they said bold. I know you said bold, but not like wrong.
No, I actually do, because
you are crazy, David.
No, because there's a chance that this could be. I mean, Nintendo did it once with the Wii. I mean, there is an opportunity for this to happen.
Okay. I will counter your bold prediction with my bold prediction, and I say that the Nintendo Switch bombs again, and this is their second failed console. At least until Christmas season 2017. But I predict that they are not going to sell as many as they think, that we're not going to have something like the Wii where you can't get one for 10 months, where you won't be able to get one until Christmas. And I just think, I think after seeing the thing yesterday, which we'll talk about probably what you're doing next time, I'm worried for Nintendo.
See, I'm not. I think there's something different enough in this console that people will be intrigued to buy, and I think that obviously I wish the price point was a little bit less. Again, we'll get into all the details next week.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be different from anything else that's out there. So I think that in and of itself, that kind of cool newness of it, will project it far enough. And I think there are going to be games that will come out that will make this kind of its own unique thing. The interesting part here is how Nintendo is not. Hopefully, it seems like they're learning to get rid of that long, drawn out process of telling your customers and the gamers of the world what's coming out so far in advance. The March date of this year is surprising that it's going to be coming out that soon, and that seems like a change in pace from Nintendo. So that's why I think ultimately it has the potential. And again, it's a bold prediction, but I think it's definitely a possibility.
My second bold prediction: after Wonder Woman bombs, Ben Affleck no longer does a Batman movie.
He's not starring. He's not starring as Batman. He's not going to direct. You're saying he walks away like from the poker table.
No, I still say. I mean, if he's in his contract to play Batman in a movie, then he'll do that, like Justice League, which I don't think of 2018. But my prediction for 2017 is that he will walk away from doing the Batman movie that he's supposed to be doing, directing and starring in. I think he walks away from that or does something where he no longer does that movie.
Like, you think it's this idea that he's like, I finally overcame Daredevil in Geely, you bastards. I can't do this again.
Yeah, I just think he's a better director. I mean, I know he had that movie this year that was supposed to be Oscar bait and he didn't do that well.
Yeah,
but
Live by Night.
What we've seen in the past, he's definitely better. And I don't think if that franchise takes one more hit like the past two movies have, I just don't think there's any coming back from it. And if Wonder Woman does bad, I mean, Justice League is in production right now, so there's not like they're not going to make that movie. But if Wonder Woman does bad as well, Justice League will probably be the last movie in this DC universe. That's
upsetting, man. I want it to do well, and that's why.
Well, so do I.
I know. That's why I think people who listen maybe to our podcast think we really don't want the WB and the DC stuff to do well. But I enjoy Batman. No,
we're freaking nerds.
Yeah.
I want every single comic book property, video game property, all those to do well, and we just haven't seen it from that side of the camp yet.
Interesting.
So,
okay,
we'll see.
So let's do resolution. So I'll catch you up. What your resolution was last year was to read more books. Actually, specifically, I think you were supposed to read all of the Halo canon books, and I said that I would.
Oh, jeez.
and I said I would read more comic books, specifically. Just to I used to read a lot more comic books when I was a kid and really have fallen off. So those were our two resolutions, and the reality is I did not keep mine. Did you?
Kind of. I think I was on the high of Halo 5. I stopped reading the Halo canon books after the fourth one. But I've read every single Star Wars canon book I can get my hands on. I'm reading one right now, and the third Aftermath book comes out next week. I already have it, or next month. I already have it pre-ordered. So I don't think I've stopped reading this year. Maybe for 2 weeks this holiday, but I've been reading this whole year. So I think I consider mine a success.
I see. I think it's like that's like a half thumb. That's like a meh thumb.
Oh, whatever.
I did read quite, because we had the comic bento thing where we were doing that for a number of months. But then ultimately, what ended up happening, it's like a gym subscription. I ended up having it and not really using it, and ultimately they're all sitting on the shelf. I still need to read all of them. There's some interesting comic books up there. It's just I haven't really gotten to.
I'll give you the login to my Marvel account, and you can read all the Star Wars comics I read. So
well, there you go. There you go. So what resolutions do we have this year? Why don't you go first?
Man, this is tough, man. So I was speaking to my wife about this, that resolutions are kind of dumb. Only not
You're
me.
Not helping out the podcast.
I don't know. No. I know. Like, I get it, but like, if you want to make a change in your life, you don't need a new year to do it. Just do it. And I want to say that I've been losing weight now since May of last year, and I guess I'll just say this as a resolution: is I will keep on that, and I'll keep it going. I guess.
Very good. Yeah.
If I balloon back up, then I'll consider it a failed resolution, but. That's kind of my big thing that I want to concentrate on this year. So.
My resolution for this year is to travel a little bit more than I traditionally do. I am kind of a cheapskate when it comes to traveling and seeing other places. I try to like buy the cheapest hotel and like go to the cheapest places, and I don't know. I could sleep standing up. So like for me, I'm like, why do we need a hotel? We'll just stand on a street corner.
Dude, I'm right there with you, man.
But
I just need a bed, a shower, and a toilet. That's all I care about.
Exactly. I'm the same way. But I think with the kiddo and kind of my wife always wants to travel and wants to do all this stuff, and like I don't take a lot of time off of work. I have I remember my office manager was telling me like, you're going to lose vacation if you don't take it. Only so much rolls over each year. So my resolution is to take more time with the family, especially now with the new kid, to try to travel and do more things and kind of show the world to my brand new kid that won't remember any of it, but whatever.
Yeah, you're gonna be like, let's just wait till at least he's 3 or 4 so he'll remember it. It's just a waste of money at this point.
Exactly. We'll just take photos and Photoshop him in it, and then that way he'll think he went.
Exactly. Show him later.
Yeah, exactly. But so yeah, that's 2016. That's our resolutions. That's all of our favorite stuff. I think, like I said, generally a fantastic year. I had the coolest thing in my life ever happen this year, which is the birth of my son Logan, of course named after Wolverine, or as I say, Wolverine was named after him. But very, very great year. All things considered, I simply cannot complain. One of the greatest day of my life occurred. So very, very cool. And I'm sure we'll talk a lot more about being a new parent and all of the fun of the pregnancy and the delivery and that stuff. I'll see if it's okay with Alyssa for me to talk about all this stuff, but it was definitely a wild ride. So we'll talk about that next week, and we've got lots of other What You Doing to catch up with. We still have to talk about the top 100 movies of all time. Amadeus. I think I have to rewatch it because I watched it like 2 months ago. It feels like
I never finished it. I'm going to Universal Studios this weekend, so I'll report back on that next week as well. Or next time. Yeah. I don't want to say next week. I don't want to put a time on this.
Yeah, now we can't be too specific about when we're going to do this. Hopefully we'll be back together.
You're so unpredictable now, David. Thanks a lot, Logan.
I know. But hopefully we'll be back together. We'll actually have a video version of it, not just an audio version. But I definitely wanted to get out this podcast because I wanted to give away all this good stuff. I didn't want people to be kind of left in the dust thinking.
Well, I assume all these people are donating are just sitting there refreshing their podcast app. It's like, when are we going to know?
Exactly.
That's all they're doing.
That's right. That's what I've gotten all these tweets about what's going on with the podcast now. So again, thanks everybody for donating. Next contest will probably be in June. We'll probably do another June for St. Jude. So keep listening, keep tuning in, but let us know, shoot us an email. Let us know what your top video game, movie, board game, or TV show of 2016 was.
Or your resolution for 2017, or your biggest disappointment. Let us know what you think.
Yeah,
email us.
What is the email?
sitdownstandard@gmail.com.
The pausing, we have a lot of pregnant pausing throughout this episode. It is because
I know, in this whole episode, I feel like I'm either interrupting you or you're like, I'm waiting for you to respond to what I'm saying.
It's been interesting. I don't know if we could do this again because like some of the comedic timing is lost. I can't imagine when we play this back how it's actually going to sound. But so again, thank you.
Don't worry, I won't listen to it.
Okay, good to know. Good to know. All right, till next time. Thanks and goodbye.
See ya.